Santiago, the largest Far Eastern Cuban city. It also prompted some evacuations in South Florida. On Wall Street, the Dow by 187 points. The Nasdaq rose 130. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-880-7474. That's 1-800-880-7474. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-880-7474.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Attorney General William Barr ordered federal prosecutors to step up their efforts to combat anti-Semitic hate crimes as he met with Jewish leaders in Brooklyn, New York on Tuesday. Barr says something must be done.
It's appropriate to meet today, the day after the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz and the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, to really commit that this department, this administration, is going to have zero tolerance for this kind of violence.
Barr says hate crimes must stop.
I'm extremely distressed by the upsurge in violence, hate crimes committed against the Jewish community.
Barr directed U.S. attorneys' offices to ensure they have a specific point of contact to handle outreach to the Jewish community. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Airbus says it's agreed to a settlement with French, British, and U.S. authorities following lengthy investigations into allegations of bribery and corruption.
This is a significant moment for Airbus, which should allow the aerospace giant to move on from a series of potentially damaging investigations. The company had been facing possible criminal prosecutions over the role of third-party consultants it used in negotiating civil aircraft deals, as well as over breaches of U.S. arms export regulations, which it had previously admitted. Since the investigations were announced, Airbus has restructured its sales operations. Former chief executive Tom Enders, who faced criticism over his handling of the affair, stepped down last year.
BBC correspondent Theo Leggett reporting. A Florida man who repeatedly harassed parents of shooting victims at Sandy Hook Elementary School has been arrested for possessing the identification of one of the parents. Wolfgang Halbig, 73, was arrested on Monday. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Welcome to this evening's episode of Rush Hour. I am your host, Kelly Rush, and we are a production of America Matters Media, the home of quality conversation. You can check us out on the web at americamatters.us. That's americamatters.us, and we are also on Facebook at facebook.com/Reno Rush Hour. That is also my Twitter handle, so you can follow me there and like me on the Facebook Rush Hour page. And this is an interactive program. We would love to have you join us with any questions or comments that you may have about today's program. That is toll-free, 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255, and that's free from anywhere in the world. So join us there, or you can drop us a line in the Facebook Watch Party comments box, and I will shout out or answer you there as well. So my special guest today is naturopathic Dr. Glenn Hausenfluke, and I am so glad to have you with us, Dr. Glenn. You are the creator of Mito 9, and that's Mito Chi Mito 9 Natural Energy Boost. And this is just, it's a great product. That's all I can say. I mean, what else can I say about it? It's an energy shot, but it's not like those Monster Boosts or those sugary, caffeine-y crappy ones that you find at the dollar store or the 7-Eleven. This is natural. This is all natural. Basically a fruit cocktail, 4-pound fruit and vegetable cocktail.
Correct.
That you can take and just kicks your body into gear.
Well,
you tell us about it.
Yeah, a little bit of clarification is that I had used this formula in my practice for years. One of the stellar side effects of this is that it will balance the body's glycemic index at 15 days, taking 1 ounce a day.
There you go.
There are 50 million borderline diabetics in the U.S. alone, so that is huge.
And those are just the borderline ones, not the ones who actually have it.
Insulin dependent. So one thing led to another, and all of a sudden I ended up being offered ownership of this formula. And in the process of owning that formula, we had to tweak it, okay, in order for it to be my formula. In the process of tweaking it, we added simple, not what you get very much anymore, minerals. And what ended up happening was, whereas it used to take 72 hours for you to get a little bit of a giddy up in your hop along, now that happens in about 25 minutes. It was a complete accident. We did not intend on it doing that, because the last thing I wanted to do was get into the energy drink market, especially with it being what it is.
Yeah.
And in my personal opinion, all of those energy drink that are offered out there are hazardous to your health. They are hazardous to your metabolism, hazardous to overall heart health, and is not addressing what I think needs to be addressed. And that is, a lot of folks, you look outside, you see clear sky, you see clear air, and it doesn't register to you that we live in a very, very toxic environment. And the environment is in fact so toxic, and has been since the 50s, that it is now assaulting our cells' ability to be able to build and maintain energy. And when this goes on for any length of time, you'll begin to start experiencing things like brain fog, senility, GI issues, energy issues, certainly, along with a host of other things that are connected to it. And so by giving yourself mitochondrial support, all of that disappears. And it is just absolutely, it's the most fun thing on the planet to, for instance, we are at a truck stop just outside of Utah. Mm-hmm. We took our little mini 2-ouncer that you had a moment ago, and we asked them to give it to the truckers for free and let us know what their feedback was. The feedback was those guys, which are heading all the way across the, to the East Coast and coming back again, said that they took that little mini and drove from 10 o'clock at night all the way till 10 o'clock the next morning, with no cigarettes, no coffee, no drugs, no sugar, no nothing. Wow. And they felt fantastic. And so that, of course, is now spreading as we speak amongst the truckers to let them know that there is something out there that will keep you awake and be healthy for you, mm-hmm. as opposed to doing something that would be the opposite.
Yeah, keep you awake and not feeling like crap.
Right, exactly. And it's like organic. It's almost organic. It has enough ingredients to be labeled organic. Mm-hmm. It tastes like grape juice. There's no preservatives in it, and that's because everybody likes grape. It's very rare to find somebody that doesn't. And that was the second best thing.
It's not that fakey grape. I mean, it's like real grape juice.
Yeah, and that little pulp,
flavor.
by the way, that you felt in the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Broccoli extract. One of those magical, yes,
right?
One of those magical ingredients. Very, very healthy for you. And it was just, I'll tell you, for people to taste it and then look up at you instead of spitting it out in your face or throwing it down, they go, wow, that tastes good. And, I hear that's part of the battle. If something tastes good, well, then we've got a chance of being able to get people to start drinking it. Right. And if they start drinking it, and then once they find out ultimately that it is good for children, children have a very hard time focusing these days because of all the distractions that are going on in school. This will make attention deficit disorder pretty much disappear within 30 days. My own grandson got diagnosed with that, and within 10 days of him taking an ounce a day steady, the principal calls up and goes, what on earth is this vitamin 9 something? His attention span has gone through the roof. Not only can he participate in the 30-minute study class, but he's helping other students as well, which has put a you-know-what grin on his ear, mm-hmm. Because he's now building confidence. So it's like it's a win-win-win across the board, and I'm just trying to do everything and anything I can to let folks know who have to work a schedule like this, that might be at night or something along those lines, or requiring extraordinary amounts of focus, that if you try this, you will be shocked pleasantly as to the results.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think a lot of us burn candles at both ends, and I think we're starting to be more mindful of how not to do that. You know, it's a new year, a new decade, new vision. I think a lot of us are really trying to have a new vision, because we can't keep doing this, and we realize that, but we've got to find solutions on how to do what we need to do, but healthfully. And I think Mito 9 Energy Boost, natural Energy Boost, is a step towards that, because natural is now the key, and it's going to be the key for the future.
And something that has come about specifically, like in the last 3 years, specifically that I've noticed, is that I talk to people face to face, and a very unusual phenomenon occurs. I go to offer it to them, and they go, "What's in this?" And I go, "Oh, like you care what's in this?"
That's
well,
right.
Now, isn't that amazing?
It is, and it's a beautiful thing. So we've got to go to our first break.
Okay.
We will be back with Kelly Rush and Dr. Glenn Hausenflug with more Rush Hour after these messages. Stay tuned.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound Radio Show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man in the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, "That's rad." It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, "Totally," just shorter. As in, "I totes love going to the mall with Becca." Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, "Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case."
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In '05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in '09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You're invited to join Business Connections with Anita every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m. here on 1180 a.m. KCKQ America Matters.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the second segment of today's Rush Hour. I am Kelly Rush, and my special guest is Dr. Glenn Hausenflug. I was pronouncing that incorrectly. I apologize. And the website for, we're talking about Dr. Glenn, and I'm going to have him kind of tell you about who he is and where he came from and all of that good stuff. But I was so excited about Mito 9, the natural energy boost, that I wanted to jump right in on it and got carried away. But it's Mito 9, the number, Mito 9, MITO9.com. And Mito, of course, stands for mitochondria. And we'll go more in depth in that in a little bit. But
and the 9 ingredients that represent.
Oh, well, that makes sense. But tell us, Doctor, where you were educated, where you were born, how you got here, and just your whole trajectory.
I went to school to be a naturopath before it was legal to be a naturopath.
There you go.
And it was so funny because I had tried working in emergency medicine. I thought I might want to be a paramedic because those guys, those are like emergency medical doctors, and I thought that's the coolest thing on earth. MASH.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah.
And then I found out that that's not going to work for me because I'm sitting here crying, bawling, squalling, saying, "Don't die, don't die, don't die," and that's not going to work. Okay. So it was a few years later, and my wife ends up going over to a place, and I went, "A naturopath? What in the world is a naturopath?" Well, they use vitamins, minerals, and herbs to treat a cause rather than a symptom of a cause. And I went, well, now doesn't that just make sense? That's what I want to do. How do you do that? Well, that was not an easy thing. And the only place that was available at the time was part of a wing of the University of Birmingham in Birmingham, Alabama. And we were not even allowed to go in person. We had to go and do our stuff and then take it there and drop it off and have it graded and then taken back to us. And I put up with that for about 4 years of my 6 years going there. And then all of a sudden we got accredited, everything's legal, everything's cool, and now you can go in person. So I hit the ground running in 1984. I had already put together a company called The Habit Breaker. What is the Habit Breaker? Well, I ended up having the highest success rate in existence at taking people off of cigarettes or chewing tobacco. Well, that was a cool thing. And then all of a sudden that career kind of got topped off in 2011 by me being asked to help Mr. Obama quit smoking cigarettes, which was really cool. I went through the Secret Service thing and all that sort of stuff. And then I had my girls, and they're sitting there. I'm going, there's the number to the White House, and get ready, we're going to call. And I called up and spoke to the aide, and it says, Dr. Hassenflug, Mr. Obama has taken the patch off. Your services are no longer required, but we will keep you, of course, posted. So that was, and these days, it kind of becomes a thing of where if you're still smoking cigarettes, well, you need a big slap upside the head.
It's a definite choice.
But doing that and the aftermath of that, and then of course practicing what is very hard to find these days, which are true naturopathic principles, where you're actually doing something to be preventative oriented and actually preventing something from getting worse and making it better, led me up to a point to where over the last 4 years, I accidentally, through the Kevin Trudeau movement and Global Information Network, ended up learning about energy medicine, cold lasers, pulsed ultrasound, all these things that were gotten out of the country in 1953. Because their own research was revealing that any muscle, bone, ligament, organ, tissue can pretty much be rejuvenated by running electrical current through it. Well, that didn't sound like something they wanted in this country, so they got rid of it. And it's been gone for roughly 80 years. Now, all of a sudden, it started coming in from outside of the U.S., and wouldn't you know, it landed right on my desk. The Israelis had an email that went worldwide saying, brain tumor, same-day surgery, no incision necessary, home by dinner. How's that possible? Pulsed ultrasound. And I did that Jaws thing, where you see the kid get munched on the raft, and went, no way, that was invented by NASA and Bell Labs in 1947 and owned by a company called Dynawave out of Chicago. Now there's like a huge patent infringement lawsuit going on that'll probably go on for years. But the bottom line is that it takes them about an hour and a half to do what it takes me 20 minutes to do with the same equipment. And this equipment is just, I just cannot say enough about how wonderful it is. We are an electromagnetic field of energy. And the short on this is that if your heart gets out of rhythm, what do? They shock it to put it back in rhythm, right? Okay, well, they've now discovered that the future of medicine is to stimulate your body's immune system through electrical current. Like, for instance, when we hook you up to this device, it will literally cause the plethora of chemical release to come about, starting with your own stem cell release, collagen manufacture,
Wow. I mean, those are the
ATP,
keys.
and mitochondria.
ATP.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So it's a whole
Oh my
nine
God.
yards.
Extra adenosine triphosphate. Imagine that.
And it takes
Building bone and muscle-
72
building blocks and
hours for
muscles.
that to happen, but when it happens, it actually heals the DNA. And I have just been
building
having the
blocks of
best
it.
time. Yes.
Holy cow.
Absolutely been having the best time ever. We've pretty much been made the go-to person for the fire department and the police department, because I don't know if it's known very well, but if those guys get injured, they're on a timeline to get healed. And if they don't, they could lose their job or be forced into retirement.
It's like athletes.
Yeah, exactly. You lose your window of opportunity. And so, it's kind of a secret, but people out there who are in the know how to get a hold of me and can take advantage of this wonderful protocol. And it just keeps the healing going, basically.
That's it. And, I don't, because the medical industrial complex is what it is, they don't want cures. They want customers. Follow the money. And I tell people this all the time. And I just don't understand how people don't understand this. I got into a bit of a debate with a gentleman last night who came in here, who was talking about some things that another show host that we have was saying and that he disagreed with. And I said, sir, well, then just don't listen to the show. That message just isn't for you then.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right. And he went with that.
No, not so much. But,
What I'm seeing and what I'm trying to do and what my hope is by branching out locally like this on air, because I used to be, a lot of folks remember me as Dr. Glenn on the X with Bruce Van Dyke.
Oh.
We were doing everything that we're talking about now for free, just tuning into the morning drive, and helping people to quit doing sugar and cigarettes and caffeine and all this kind of stuff. And of course, now that's become huge, big business because of, the health side effects that can create. And what I'm finding is that, like for instance, if I may, I get a lot of feedback from clients who are going to medical doctors for this or for that, right? And they start talking about how when they started beginning the drug regime, that it made them sick to their stomach, actually hurt their stomach, actually did this, actually did that. And they told the doctor that they don't really want to do that, and isn't there anything else available? Well, in more times than not, the doctor is responding, no, this is all there is.
He doesn't know. He's not trained.
And you will do what I'm telling you to do, or I'll discharge you and make it so that you can't be treated by anybody else in town. Now, I come from Texas. Those are fighting
Where
words
in
to
Texas?
me. Fort Worth.
Oh, you're kidding. I lived in Dallas for dead center Dallas, Marsh and Forest.
Lake Worth.
How about
Lake Worth. If we're going to die today, then today's as good a day as any to die, okay? But this is something that we can't combat unless we all come together. And if we all come together, then maybe some of those medical doctors out there who are afraid to buck the system and come back and say, you know what, I went to school for 13 years to be a medical doctor, and I took an oath to uphold health. Okay?
Not the law.
Not the law, and to do everything and anything that there is to help a person not suffer and be better. Well, it's been my observation that oath is not necessarily being followed very closely. And as a consequence, until we're able to get some of these MDs who carry the most powerful degree on the planet, together with some of us guys that are naturopaths, homeopaths, clinical nutritionists, whatnot, this is going to kind of keep going the way it's going. Whereas if we all got together and said, no, this stops right here, right now, today. We are going to be all about healing. There's where we're going to see some of the most fantastic stories ever coming forth and being seen. And I have so many of them that I call myself a lot of times Glenn Anecdotal Hassenflug, because...
But that's good, though. I mean, people want to hear story. I mean, stories are what educate.
Exactly.
Because that's how we relate to each other.
Exactly.
I mean, you can go to, as many, UNR lectures or, seminars or workshops as you want. But until you speak to other people, other human beings that have had similar experiences to you, where you can go, oh my God, yes. And I felt that too, and I had that happen to me too.
Right. And then
what can we do about it?
Right.
Is the next.
Right. And the one thing that I've been focusing on over the last 6 months specifically is this new protocol that I told you about, blood flow restriction. To give you an idea of how powerful this is and what it could do, I got referred a patient in Arizona. He's 62 years old. His blood pressure, are you ready? 250 over 150.
Oh my God.
Right. I said, are you standing or sitting as you're talking to me? It would look bad if you died while I'm on the phone with you. Okay, don't do that. And so he's okay. But he came to me, I came to him highly recommended. I was working with another national doctor, and together the two of us put him onto a nutritional protocol that brought him down from 250 over 150 to 182 over 70 in 3.5 weeks. But then we couldn't go any further than that.
Right. Well, and that, there could be genetic reasons for that. There could be,
We put him on the bands, had him walk for 30 minutes. In 23 days, his blood pressure was 121 over 70.
Wow.
No meds.
Wow.
No nutrition.
All right. We'll talk more about that on the second half.
Okay.
Stay tuned for Rush Hour. We'll be right back.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the second half of today's Rush Hour. As I said at the top of the show, we are a production of America Matters Media, and this is an interactive program. So give us a call, 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255, and that's toll-free from anywhere in the world. Or you can just drop us a line in the comments box here on the Facebook Watch Party. And we're looking at Jeff Dunn and Kathleen Hanley, and Michelle Perry Roberts has great information, and I know she gets this as a Euphoria representative, and she's big in DNA nutrition. And we've got Suzanne Brandon and Eddie Floyd and Arjun Bhatti over there in India. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate that. And so back to Dr. Glenn, and so we're talking offline about just, kind of generalized
state of things,
state of health and homeostasis, and the harmony that your body is born to be at.
Right.
That's what it looks for. That's what homeostasis basically is the biological word for harmony.
Right.
And just how screwed up we've gotten it, because our environment is just basically toxic. And I mean, your skin is the largest organ. It is an organ, and it absorbs, everything around you.
Right.
And so even that, you're even getting stuff from your skin, stuff that you ingest, stuff that you consume. So, your body's working hard to filter all this stuff, and that's what your kidneys do, your liver does.
And as we were talking about a moment ago, how it can be extremely beneficial to be able to have ongoing seminars where folks can actually get together and ask a question about a particular issue that they may be having, because they do not want to do surgery, they do not want to go on to meds or anything like that, and they've been told little hints and bits and pieces that there might be something out there, and then to finally get a definitive answer on it, it can free them. It can make their I've had 60-year-old men break down and cry in the office. And why? I'm going, "Sir, did I say something to offend you?" They go, wipe the tears away and go, "I'm sorry, you're just the first doc that's not full of that I've seen, because the pain is actually gone. You actually made the pain go away." And you know what? I have this standing operation procedure of, if I come across somebody who's in pain, I will treat you complimentary once or even twice to show you what I can do before I charge you for anything. Now, how weird is that? I tell everybody I missed the boat on getting paid first before you do something, but it's actually panned out. People so appreciate it. They just can't believe that you would do something like that. And why? Well, I'm trying to show you how much I believe in it. And if I believe in it, I'm not trying to take advantage of you by charging you anything to get you to believe in it. I'm trying to show you first and let you see firsthand. And I just can't tell you. I learned a long time ago that when you can put a smile on somebody's face and take away the misery, the frown line, the 9/11, there's just no better feeling on the planet to do that. There's just not.
Honestly, especially when they thought that there was no way that could even be possible.
Exactly.
With or without meds.
Exactly. And that's probably, there's an awful lot of misinformation out there that sometimes we have to spend as much time combating that as we do at trying to create it. And that's why, again, when we were talking off air, things like what we were talking about, that's the key, is to be able to band together as a group and be able to say, hey, come on into our group, because you know what? We're practicing healthy lifestyle choices, and if something goes wrong with us, we have access to some of the more state-of-the-art alternative medicine that's out there that does, in fact, work. Not only work, but works very well. And that's another thing about Mito 9. It's so funny that people talk about how they have focus. right up until you get focus. And then they're going, wow, I got more work done yesterday than I've gotten done in the previous week by taking my ounce of this. And when it expands and you stay on it, we actually have folks in Sacramento that are CPAs and accountants, and they go, are you kidding? There's no way I can go through a season without having my Mito 9, because it brings about that much focus. Kids at UNR, Mito 9 is available at UNR, and kids are actually changing their GPAs by taking this before they test, as opposed to downing huge amounts of caffeine, sugar, God only knows what else. Because, if you look at the science of it, all of that actually dummies you down and makes it more difficult for you to memorize and retain than it would be if you have something that's going to give you focus and stamina.
Yeah, let's talk about the ingredients in Mito 9.
Okay.
And
absolutely. Did I? Oh, geez, I don't. It's all of the, there it is. It's all of the phytonutrients that have been more or less tested by NASA. These have been around for so long. Most folks know right off the top of their head mangosteen. Do you remember Zango when Zango was around? That drink?
That was
okay, it went by the wayside. This actually has more mangosteen in it than Zango did. And that's one of the reasons why people took that, was because of that particular antioxidant. This goes on to add elderberry, goji berry, blackberry, green tea, broccoli, as I said, broccoli extract, aloe vera. And to a lot of people, I'm so surprised, they don't realize the power of aloe vera. Aloe vera to the human body is what air to the lung is.
Oh my God,
it's that powerful. You know who invented it? A South Korean that 47 years ago
was ingestible?
Yes, was diagnosed with fatal liver cancer. And so he went out into his garden and he started eating aloe, which is really rough because it tastes really bad when you eat it raw. But that man is still alive today.
Wow.
Today. And I just can't tell you, if there's any kind of problem going on with having some slipperiness inside your human body, start taking an ounce a day of aloe and watch what happens. It's just absolutely astounding.
No, I love aloe, externally too.
Right, of course. Oh, topically.
It's a miracle plant.
Anytime you've had a rather severe sunburn and you can get access to a plant and just go and rub it on there, unbelievable, unbelievable. So that's one of the reasons why we've made certain that the ingredients are what they're supposed to be, that the results are what they are supposed to be, and now it's just a question of trying to get it out there as much as possible, because people don't know about it.
And what does this particular combination of ingredients do? How does the synthesis of these?
It will, when you take an ounce in the AM, it will, within 15 to 30 minutes, bring about a gentle lift in energy. When I say gentle lift in energy, I'm trying to suggest no stimulants.
Yes, none of that
none of the wiry crap. Along with a noticeable enhanced focus and a sense of well-being that will last all day. Clinically, 36 hours.
It worked
but basically all day. And, there's a good 50, 60, 70% of this nation that suffers from what is referred to as a mid-afternoon slump in energy between the hours of 2 and 6, sometimes even 10 and 6, depending on what their diets are.
Yes.
Because here again, I can't say that. I don't like a good steak, like everybody says. I'll take a good elk steak or something along those lines, But, the bottom line is something that folks just don't realize, and I've been accused of being brutally honest all my career, and I continue to do so, and that is, you may like your sirloin, you may like your prime rib, but guess what? It don't like your heart. Animal fat is not a loved ingredient by the human body, and because it takes years for things to manifest themselves forward to being a disease, that's what it is with red meat. You eat red meat for 30 years, you're going to end up with heart disease at that time.
Sure.
And the people that I used to argue with, everything in moderation. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. It's 7% actually, clinically suggested of 7%, which is once or twice a month. And it's not even restricting you on that. It's just that you need to eat the high elevation game that doesn't have all of the pollutants and all the crap in it, like what we sometimes
commercially
find.
farmed.
Exactly. So it's little things like that. And believe me, some people, you talk about taking their red meat away from them, you might as well have thought about taking their child away from them. Okay, they're not going to play. And yet, if you get them to understand that It's a process that you go through, and you'll eventually be able to get used to it and be just fine. And you may even flip on the other side where you go without red meat long enough to where then you go and have some, and it'll make you sick.
Oh, yeah. I've known
that.
people that do.
I have too. I got
yeah.
a VIP at the Rib Cook-Off, and I got to eat about 18 ribs, and I was sick for a week.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
I couldn't believe
well,
it.
and with pork too, if you
Yes.
cleanse
Toxic.
yourself out of pork and you start eating it again, sometimes the parasites will get you.
Pork is the only meat that eats its own feces,
Yeah.
and so therefore
yeah.
is considered
and it's not.
toxic.
I mean, it's not necessarily.
Right.
I say
you're not going to die if you eat it.
parasites,
Right,
but
right.
it's not the cleanest
Right,
meat,
right.
per se.
Now, and that, along with something else that folks don't realize, is that if you are eating these artificial sweeteners, it forms a coating on the tongue, so that if you have anything that is less than 600 times the sweetening power of sugar, of this fake sugar, you don't like it. It doesn't taste good to you. And people don't understand that until you stop it and let that coating clear off your tongue, it's going to be like that forever. And then I'm still trying to figure out how it is that you can go from being our size to suddenly weighing 200 pounds and don't see that you're chugging on those carbonated sodas every single day. How come it is that you don't see that that's creating a problem? That's always amazing to me. But nevertheless, it's not to criticize, it's to try and help.
it's a mindfulness thing, and it's understanding genetics. This is all about genetics and gene expression, and how the distortion of our food products has created this monstrous effect on our genes.
Yes, it has.
And how the processed food industry has figured that out.
Right. Oh, they
and
have.
This isn't by accident.
No, it's not. And they put sugar in everything to try and get you addicted to it so that you'll come back and keep buying that same thing over and over again. Folks should know there's a simple combination of amino acids and enzymes that you can take, and in 10 days you can be completely off sugar. And if you tried to still eat the sugar, it'd make you sick.
Oh, it tastes terrible. Sugar shock. 2 weeks, sugar shock.
Right.
So we've got to go to another break. We will be back for the fourth and final segment of today's Rush Hour with Kelly Rush and Dr. Glenn Hassenflug after these messages, right after.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch, meine Fräulein?
Scheiß drauf.
The Butcher's Kitchen Charbecue invites your family in for the best wood-fire, slow-cooked barbecue rotisserie and open char pit food around these parts. Charbecue on the corner of Virginia and Huffaker presents sliced Santa Maria tri-tip, beef brisket, and ribeye. Charbecue redefines homemade pork and specialty sausages. The all-meat chili reigns supreme in Reno. Charbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen, 7689 South Virginia at Huffaker, Winners Crossing. Get in and get real. Charbecue, Reno.
Looking for family entertainment? How about remote-controlled car racing on Nevada's largest indoor dirt track? Whippet RC Raceway and Hobbies. No equipment or racing skill is necessary. Rental cars are available and the staff will instruct you. All ages are welcome with classes for beginners, weekly races, and a monthly competition with a $100 cash prize. Want to buy your own 1/10 scale RC car or need parts on repairs? Whippet has a full hobby shop featuring recognized brands like Lowesley, Associated, Traxxas, Axial, and more, and now carries drones and drone parts. Whippet is the perfect venue for birthday parties or company and other special events. That's Whippet RC Raceway and Hobbies, located at 1005 Standard Street off Panther Drive exit in North Reno. Give them a call today at 775-686-8415. On Facebook and Instagram, search for Whippet RC, offering family fun for everyone 5 days a week, Wednesday through Sunday.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the fourth and final segment of today's Rush Hour. I am Kelly Rush, and I am here with naturopathic Dr. Glenn Hassenpflug. And we are talking about all different kinds of just kind of health things and, you know, the industrial medical complex and how, you know, their goals are a little different sometimes. And, you know, it's a shame because so many of the docs and the health professionals within the industry are great. I mean, they're great people. Their hearts are in the right place. They want to do the right thing, but they're caught up within the system.
Correct.
And it is a damn system. Now, they're even called health systems.
Right, right.
And, you know, they've consolidated and, you know, just had to do all this stuff for economic and profit reasons and this and that. And, you know, poor doctors are now in the business of medicine. They're not in the business of health anymore.
Well, they're also in the business of arguing.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember when I've been witness to such disrespect being laid out onto a patient who's just simply requesting the truth about something, just asking something simple, and all of a sudden the doctor gets up in arms and is having to defend himself. And I keep hearing this thing over and over again about, oh, let me guess, you're the Google queen and you're an expert and my 13 years in school doesn't amount to anything and blah blah. And you try and go, no, I didn't say that. That's not exactly what I said. I just don't understand why. Okay, I have a pet peeve. Okay, pet peeve. Why is it that if a man that is that educated does not open up a book and learn how to cure Lyme disease, as opposed to just chalking it off as being Parkinson's or MS and putting the individual on those meds even though they have Lyme disease?
Right.
Okay? They don't do any parasitic testing, and they even talk about doing this parasite cleanse, of which I called up a doc one day and started yelling at him going, sir, do you know what happens when you put something in the human body that's going to start eradicating parasites? They multiply and divide like there's no tomorrow. That could be life-threatening in some instances. And you're doing a cleanse? A parasite cleanse, which is just enough to piss them off? Or, excuse me, make them mad?
You can say that.
Okay. That is categorically dangerous in my opinion. And you know what? I have lots of years of success with this. I have lots of testimonials of people calling up and going, they were actually slurring their words, believing that they had Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis, when in fact it was Lyme. We put them through the 90-day protocol. Boom, this person who was slurring their words all of a sudden calls up and goes, Glenn, you the man. Look at me. Listen to the way I'm talking. I feel so fantastic. I love you, brother. I just love you. And once again, it's one of those things of where you get diagnosed with something that there's no cure for, when in fact you've got something that there is in fact a cure for, and do not have to suffer like this.
And how much of the country even knows there's a cure for Lyme disease?
I wouldn't know that. I had that meltdown about 20 years ago. I was worried about all kinds of everybody everywhere on the earth, and I ended up having a shaman say, Glenn, you can only help those people that you can reach, bud. There's no reason for you to worry about everything else, okay? And so I did. And once I kind of calmed down and started focusing on that, now I not only have 1, 2, but 3 different choices on treating Lyme disease. And it's just again one of those wonderful things.
That's amazing.
So
yeah, and that's great to put that out there because you know, I don't know that a lot of people know that. I wasn't aware of that.
It is. It's a real fallacy, and I you know, again, my business partners that I have, they work in medicine. Some of them even for, well, the people that drive the ambulances all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
and he teaches. And he said, you would not believe our classrooms these days. It's kind of become a BS session as opposed to anything else, because as they begin to start being taught this, it will come up that, well, they're being blocked. They can't do this or they can't do that because that has too much of a healing aspect to it. And so it's like, oh, so I guess we just sit here and twiddle our thumbs and talk about what could be versus what is. Okay, and it's like, yeah, I stay quiet about it. I'm not saying anything, names or anything like that. It's just that there are people that know what's going on. They know what's happening.
And this stuff is going to get blown wide open.
It is.
Real soon.
It is. I believe that.
It is. I've been saying for a long time, Glenn, that 2020 is a big tipping point. And this year is going to be a bit chaotic as we're in the midst of the end of the system as we know it. And I mean the system.
Wow, that's exciting.
The big one, all of it. The fractional reserve banking system, the political system, the monarchical governmentals. I mean, the whole friggin' thing.
Boy, I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, it has to. We've been gunning for this since 1913. I mean, it's been, and humanity is in for a major positive
always
shift.
Refer to it as we are increasing speed and we are heading towards a wall. And I don't know what it's going to entail.
You know what it is? It's not a wall. It's candy glass.
Okay. Well, okay. Yep. That
you know
makes
what
sense.
I'm talking
Yep,
about?
Yep,
You know what candy glass is?
Burst through it. Absolutely.
It's what it is.
Yep.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
And it's like in the movies where the good guy is being chased by the bad guy and he runs through the gap and it shatters and he ends up flying.
Right.
And gets caught by the helicopter picks him up or whatever it is.
Right.
That's where we're at.
I'm so excited.
The right things are happening. Doesn't look like it, doesn't quite feel like it to most people.
Well, it's as I said, when I started hearing people say, well, what's in it? People are starting to pay attention. It's taken a long time, but people are starting to pay attention. And they are starting to realize that, hey, if you find yourself with yellow eyes or bluish gray eyes, your sclera, then you might want to do some research and find out that means that you're retaining a fair amount of toxicity and that you could go through a relatively innocent protocol, 30 days or less, that would have you feeling 1,000% different than you currently feel, just by getting rid of toxicity. And that's probably one of the things I wanted to say also is that always wanting to leave something better than I found it. We stopped getting minerals somewhere around in our diet, somewhere around 1975, 1980. And they don't call minerals essential building blocks for the sheer heck of it. They are, in fact, an overall...
That's actually not true. We've been hearing that, our soil is this, that, and the other. Some of the commercial, the bigger commercial farms, it had when all of that started, a lot of the soil had gotten depleted. It has since... Because of the way the earth is, and we have the molten core and all of that, the way it turns over when things grow, those roots pull minerals up from the new soil as it comes up, and it does get regenerated. And the commercial farms have they replenish from. They've had to replenish. So it's not great. But
at least it's
much better than people keep repeating this. Oh, our soil has no minerals in it, has nothing. Our food has. It's not as bad as it was. That they got that statistic from when you're talking about when initial commercial farming started to take over.
Right.
It's not as bad, but it's not great. But it's not as bad as it was.
The point that I was going to demonstrate was that in the folks that I see that are walking around, perhaps frail, perhaps with a cane, perhaps something along these lines, there's most likely not minerals that they're taking supplementally in their diet, and yet the ones that are, you never see them sick. You never see them anything. They're just vibrant, strong, going, blowing, going. And it's that was the point I was trying to demonstrate.
Absolutely,
is that it's
I believe that none of us are fully nutritionally sound.
Correct. We can always use improvement.
I can't say none. The vast majority of us.
Correct.
We don't eat enough. We don't eat properly.
Don't drink enough water.
We're not hydrated.
Right.
We don't even know proper nutrition. We're not taught that. We don't know what our bodies need. There's a genetic component. There's a lot involved in being healthy.
Right.
It takes time. It takes effort. It takes work. We don't want to do it. We're lazy.
I got very lucky in that some of my mentors were Dr. Bernard Jensen, Dr. Stu Wheelwright. These guys based their entire careers off of your plumbing. And it was established that they were forward-thinking physicians, and that it is in fact true that you're only as sick and unhealthy as what your plumbing is. As long as you can take toxicity in and process it out in a timely fashion, everything's all good.
Sure.
It's when you take it in and it backs up that the problems begin to start.
Yeah, so you got to keep your liver clean, you got to keep your kidneys clean, you got to keep your intestines. I mean, you got to keep all this stuff working. And if you're not getting the proper nutrition all the way around, it's going to be off.
Things can begin to start sliding down sideways on a gurney, as we call it. So.
And Mito 9 is, I think, goes a long way towards helping that in 1 ounce.
It's
I mean, hey.
It really is. And I've taken real estate companies and I've said, hey, let me do a challenge for you. I'll supply it for free. I'm not even asking you to buy it, okay? I'm just saying, let me show you what happens when you think you have focus and then you get focused. Take your 3 top salesmen and let's have them take an ounce a day for 30 days, okay?
And see what happens.
And then see what happens in sales. They recorded a 24% increase in 1 month in sales.
My God, that's wonderful. Wow.
How fun is that?
Thank you, Dr. Glenn Hassan-Flug, for joining me on Rush Hour. We will do this again, and hopefully you will have your own show here soon. But this was great. Mito9.com, Mito9.com, Mito9.com is where you can get this amazing stuff, among other fantastic products for your health. And you can contact Dr. Glenn, 775-338-3955. 775-787-5746 is the office.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should